Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly, truly appreciate it. Every Saturday, 1:30 Central Standard Time, 2:30 on the East Coast. So what are we going to talk about today? So today we are actually going to talk about what you're going to do about restoring your credit. Had some issues in the past, and you've got some things to clear up. How are we going to move it to the next level for you? So no matter where you start, if you're starting at 580, if you're starting at 623, if you're starting at 700, no matter where you start, we're going to talk about some things that you can go ahead and you can tweak and get off your credit report to help you increase your credit score. We're going to talk about those things today. And, of course, we're going to do all the other stuff. We got the question of the day, which actually is about business credit. So if you have a business, if you're thinking about starting a business, you may want to stick around to get that little snippet about business credit today. So we're going to talk about that. And then also we're going to have shout-outs, of course. We got to do shout-outs. So last week, Saturday, I missed you guys on Saturday, I was celebrating my mother-in-law's birthday. So her birthday was this past Wednesday. So Dolores Garrett, happy birthday to you. It was a great celebration as usual. Happy birthday. I got to give a happy birthday shout out to Drake Hudson as well. That is my godson, you guys. So Drake Hudson, happy birthday to you. Number 52 plays for the Panthers. I'm not going to give y'all the school so y'all can stalk them and everything. But high school, plays for the Panthers, doing good, big things down there. Number 52, Drake Hudson. So happy birthday to you. And Tamika Steele, I want to say happy birthday to you as well. I think today is her birthday. So happy birthday to you, Tamika. She is the author of Beloved Brown Girl. You guys look up that book on Amazon. Go and get that book, Beloved Brown Girl, by A.C. Steele on Amazon. And so happy birthday to you, Tamika. All right, so let's jump into the show today. So what I was saying, we're going to talk about the steps that you should take when you're talking about your credit and restoring your credit. All right, so of course, the first thing you got to do, the very first thing you have to do is to obtain your credit report. Now, I tell you guys all the time about www.annualcreditreport.com because that's the place that the government says, hey, here you can get your free credit report once every 12 months on a rolling basis. So it's not a calendar month. It's not from January to December. If you go get yours today, what's today? September the 1st? You go get yours today, then you can get it again from TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian in another 12 months for free. So you can absolutely go there and do that. But it's limited, right? You can only get it once that 12 months. So it's limited. So you can get it there. And it also does not come with a credit score attached to it. So you just get your report and your report only there. And let me say this right quick. You can check your own credit report for free anytime you want to at other places. So you've got the Credit Karmas. You can pay for it with Experian, or you can pay for it with Equifax. You can get it for free at all kinds of different places. Credit Sesame, Credit Check Total, all kind of places where you can get it for free. I advocate getting it for free, of course, because who needs another, $10 bill to be debited out of their account every month? So let's say you do one of these places that you have to pay for $10 a month. You do that $10 a month, and it's 12 months, $120 a month that you have spent on being able to have access to your credit score. Do you need your credit score that often? Do you need $120 worth of looking at your credit score? I highly doubt it. So that's why I like to stick with the free stuff, even though the scores may be different on Credit Karma. If you're looking at these things in your credit report so you can start to improve, then when you're looking at your Credit Karma number and that number starts to go up, then you can most likely assume that your FICO number somewhere else that you would be paying for would be going up as well. So it doesn't necessarily always pay to get it and have to pay for it all of the time. So govern yourselves accordingly when it comes to that. So you got to get your credit report, right? So www.annualcreditreport.com, or go find your free credit report somewhere else. So that's the first thing you got to do, right? So then secondly, here's what you need to do. You need to find, when you get your credit report, now I look at credit reports on my computer all day long, on my phone, everywhere I'm looking at credit reports. If I were you and in this position, I'm trying to improve my credit, what I would do is I would get my credit report and I would print it out. So wherever you find your credit report, get it and print it out so you have a hard copy of it and you can write on it, you can make, highlight on it, you can make notes in the margin and things of that nature. I would do that. So get your credit report and print it out. So once you print it out, then I want you to look at any and all negative information on your credit report. So go through each one of your accounts. So I don't care if it's an account from JCPenney's or if your old car note or a current car note or your mortgage. Go through each one of those and look and see. You have several things that you need to be looking for. One, you need to make sure that it shows every month. It's got by year. So you might see back to 2013. And you'll see January, February, March, April, May, all the way across. They should all have green checks or some kind of green mark or okay or something of that nature if you've been paying them on time. Anytime you see something that's not green, whether it's yellow or if it's red, you just see something that's a negative for you. So then you need to make note of that. Circle it. Go ahead and make note of that so you know where it is. Go through each and every one of your accounts. Old accounts and new accounts. Go through them all because we're going to use this particular thing so you can get your credit score to move. So you need to know each and every one of them. Some of them you would decide to go ahead and tackle. I'm going to fight this one. I'm going to see if I can get this changed. Others you may just say, forget about it and roll on because it's not worth it. But you want to circle or you want to make note of each and every one of those things. Any negative item that's on your credit report. So that could be late payments, like I was just talking about. You got the green checks and stuff that'll show that you've paid or not paid on time. Whenever that is, you want to make note of that. Of course, you want to make note of any collections. There's a whole different section. So you got your accounts that are current, and you got your old accounts that are on there. Then you have collections, if you have any collections at all. So go to collections area. Make sure you look at all of those. Some of these, sometimes you don't realize that there's a collection on your credit report. Sometimes you have no idea what the name, who this is that's collecting on you or why they are collecting on you. Here's what happens with your collections. So if you have an account, it goes bad, that account sells your account to a collection agency. So you may not know that collection agency's name. That collection agency could even change their name. They could have changed their name. They could have sold it to someone else. So you may not recognize that name. Then you automatically think, I don't know these people, so I don't owe these people. And that's not necessarily the case. Just because you don't know them doesn't mean that you don't owe that particular place. So then if you continue to look in the credit report, it'll show you who your original creditor was, who they say you defaulted with on whatever account that it is. So you want to look at your collections. You want to make sure that you do that. Find those collections. Judgments and tax liens. These might be in what's called the public records area of your credit report. Judgments and tax liens. If you've been listening to the show anytime over the last year at all, a few times I've mentioned the fact that judgments nor tax liens should be on your credit report anymore. If you find any of those, you need to contact whomever right away because your judgments and tax liens should not be on your credit report. Now, how big of a difference could that make for you? If you have a judgment on your credit report, it could be knocking your score down 100 points. So just imagine, look at your credit score. If you're sitting at a 595, you could be at a 695. You are in the fair range and only 5 points from good, just because you have that judgment on your credit report. And if it shouldn't be there anymore, by hook or crook, as long as it was removed from your credit report, if it shouldn't be there anymore, then you need to make sure that you get it off of there. So you need to contact the courthouse if you need to. You need to contact whoever you need to contact. Don't contact the original person that sued you, though. Don't contact them because then they may be looking to collect that money from you. So don't contact them, but contact that courthouse to make sure that that judgment comes off of your credit report. You can also just contact TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. You can contact all three of them as well to make sure that judgment comes out. Same thing with tax liens. I wouldn't be calling the IRS if I was you, or the state about any kind of tax lien, but I would definitely contact TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian and say, hey, I thought there was a deal made, or tax liens aren't supposed to be on my credit report anymore, and I need you to have this removed from my credit report, because those two can drag your credit score down almost up to 100 points. So if you've got them on there, if you've always paid your taxes late, if you will, you paid them late, and they wind up getting on your credit report, and then you went ahead and paid them, but you absolutely paid them, they will stay on your credit report for 7 years previously before this deal was struck. So you want to make sure that you get those things off. And also with bankruptcies. So let's say you filed bankruptcy, but something happened. You didn't go through with the bankruptcy, but you actually filed, and you have all these kind of things, you didn't complete it or whatever it is. You need to make note of that as well, because you're absolutely going to file a dispute on that. And so that brings us to the next thing. The next thing you want to do is you want to file a dispute. You got all these negative items on your credit report. You need to file disputes on them. Now, how are you going to file your dispute? You can file your dispute with the credit bureau, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You can file it with the credit bureau. You can do it online, or you can send them a letter. Depending on what it is, I file online disputes all the time. Yes, you do give up a little bit of your quote-unquote rights when it comes to it, but if it's something simple, if it's just a late payment or what have you, and I have a strategy after that, if they say, yes, you did have the late payment and we're not taking it off, there's another strategy after that. So I will file that one online. If you file online, they have 30 days to, correct it, investigate it, do all the things they need to do, and then have it reported correctly on your credit report. If you send them a letter, then they have 35 days to do so. When you send them a letter, if you want to send them a letter, write your letter, make it short and simple. Don't make it a whole page. Do not make it a whole page. So don't make it, a whole page long. You got 5 paragraphs and all that stuff. Don't do that when you file your dispute and you're mailing it in. You can simply state what your position is. And of course, you got to add some identifying information, maybe the old account number, the current account number, if it's a collection or what have you, that they have listed for you. You got to add that information. Maybe your Social Security. I don't like sending your whole Social Security, but maybe the last 4 digits of your Social Security to identify yourself, as well as your birth date. So you'll have those things going on. When you do this. So you want to send those in. Now, when you send it, you need to send it certified. Too many times, and I don't know if credit bureaus are taking turns saying, hey, we didn't receive it, or what, but I've run into Experian saying, hey, we didn't receive things for 3, 4, 5 months in a row. That was their standard line. Equifax the same way. They've done it before as well. So you want to send it certified. So you send it certified, that they got it, a signature on it, so somebody got it. So if they didn't turn it in, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do with it, somebody will get in trouble on the other end, and it may help you out. So if they didn't get to you and finish it in 35 days from the date that the 35 days, especially from the date that they received it, then you may get that removed from your credit report simply because they couldn't verify it and do what they need to do in the time that was allotted to them by the laws, the FCRA. That's the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if you have those kinds of things going on, then that's what you want to do. You want to go ahead and you want to mail that dispute in to them. And yes, you can dispute open and closed accounts. So if you've got a late payment on an account that has been closed for 3 years, that late payment is still sitting on there. Things stay on your credit report for 7 years. That late payment may be dinging your credit, maybe not a lot. Maybe it's only 5 points. Maybe it's only 6 points. Whatever it is, though, you can actually dispute that as well. So if it's a place, for example, let's say you had, I don't even know if they had credit cards, but let's say you had Toys R Us credit card. Toys R Us is out of business. I have no idea what they're doing about collecting from people that owe them money or what have you. But let's say that card is closed and Toys R Us is closed at this point. Who are they going to verify information from? Who knows? So maybe you want to go ahead and you want to file a dispute on that. Unfortunately, a long-standing store, Carson Perry Scott, just closed recently.